Hi, I'm Elaine Katura. I'm your host for Radiant Next Chapter, Rewrite Your Story with Confidence. And today I want to welcome Sarah Shaffer. She is an author and she's a straightforward life strategist. Sarah's a powerhouse behind her book, Dumpster Fire Diaries, Get Off Your Hot Mess Express. She's a refreshing book that's very honest and encouraging women to stop spiraling and start soaring. So get ready to laugh, be challenged, and walk away with some real tools that'll manage the mess that we're in and help you start living your best life. Hi, Sarah. How are you today?
Oh, Elaine, thank you. I'm great. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm
Thank you for
glad that you'll
having
be,
me.
yeah, I'm happy that you're here and we'll be able to share your story with everyone here. So, one of my first questions here is Sarah, you call your book Dumpster Fire Diaries. Can you share a moment that truly felt like a dumpster fire and how you turned it around?
Absolutely. So for me, the dumpster fire is this. It's our thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And especially as women, as moms, as parents, this is just buggered down with so much stuff. And we have the choice whether, we douse it with alcohol and set it on fire ourselves, or we learn how to manage them because they keep coming. So it's our mindset. It's this brain that's stuck in holding things from our past, things from our present, and worrying about the future.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it becomes unmanageable and then we cannot think clearly. So for me, I have my laundry list of traumas and so does everybody else. My key core goal with this book is to let someone know that they're not alone, that they are not alone. It just looks different and I'm the one that's talking about it. So, on top of, spanning from childhood abuse, all the gloriousness that comes with that, 9/11, a rare disease, stem cell transplant child, another child that's 19. And, you know, we tend to forget the siblings. I will say that flat out,
Yeah.
especially when you're dealing with, the parent of chronic illness or anything like that. It is very hard. People are like, well, you love your children all the same. And yes, you do. But
Mm-hmm.
that energy, and we have to keep so that these dumpster fires keep piling on, you know.
Yeah.
And just when we think that we get through one and we survived it, and that's a strength, another one comes right along. So the Dumpster Fire Diaries is really my story with the strategies I used after 30 years of drinking to get out of my dumpster fire, get my thinking in gear,
Mm-hmm.
and really become the better version of myself. Because as my children are going out, this life is not ending.
No.
It's not over. And there's so
Yeah.
much more. We view parenting as just those formative years.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the potential to do the most damage in those formative years. And then we're like, okay, fly solo. You got it.
See ya.
You, yeah.
No.
And so it's the more that we as parents understand where we came from, the fact that we didn't choose our lives, our kids didn't choose their lives, the two don't have to, we start to bring some peace and we start to build different relationships with our children as they go off and become adults. And we hopefully help them not regurgitate that same cycle that
Oh,
we
yeah.
went through. And
That makes
even
so
if we're
much
not
sense.
doing the same things, like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I'm not going to be my parent. I'm not going to do that. Somehow we're morphing it into something that does the same thing
Mm.
in different ways. And recognizing that is just a huge gift.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to see what we are, how we're affecting others because of what
Hmm.
we've gone through, right? Yeah, that makes sense. So your message is unapologetically raw and real. So why do you think it resonates so deeply with women, especially those that are transitional season like empty nesting?
Absolutely. Because we as women, we've been wearing this emotional Spanx, if you will.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we have stuffed everything, including the kitchen sink, in there, thinking we look great. But really, it's got to go somewhere. It doesn't
Mhm.
just disappear like we thought. And so, it's bubbling out. You got the boob fat, the back fat, your leg can't, move because it's numb from being the circulation's cut off, and we think we look great, and we're really just a rolling dumpster fire,
Mm.
and so
Hmm.
when things get quiet, meaning children go off and we're sitting with all of these thoughts that we buried down, whether stuffed them down, drank them down, drugged them down, did whatever,
Hmm.
shopped them down, and
Yeah.
now they're bubbling out and we don't know what to do with them. And instead of acknowledging them, potentially if we don't call out what's happening and we don't say it out loud, that real, that raw, when
Hmm.
people hear me speak and say things about recovery and addiction and mistakes I made as a mother and putting it out there, because again, I'm not unique.
No.
I'm just the one saying it out loud.
Yeah. I have never heard emotional Spanx, that term before, and it makes so much sense.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. That is so
and
true.
and the visual, like, I mean, and that's what it's meant for. Like, you
Yeah.
can see it, you can imagine yourself like, I can't even breathe. And what am I doing this for? Who am I doing this for?
Right.
Who am I
Yeah.
putting on this show for?
Hmm.
Because let me tell you something, you take the scissors and you just snip those things right down, and man, it feels good.
And you can breathe again, right?
And you can breathe, and it may
Yeah.
not look pretty, but guess what? Ain't nobody
It's
looking,
real. Yeah.
and ain't nobody looking
Yeah. It's so
except
awesome.
you,
I
right?
love that. Yes, I love that. That makes so much sense. Thank you. So let's talk about the Hot Mess Express and what are some of the signs that you might feel or see when you're writing in it? How
So
and
yeah,
how would you get off?
when you're in the thick of that, and it's when I describe the emotions when we feel like we are imploding, that the the squirrely belly, the
Hmm.
anxiety diarrhea,
Hmm.
all of this stuff that we're like, oh, I don't know why my stomach hurts. Oh, I do, because everything's connected.
Hmm.
The hot, so everything is it starts up here. I don't
Yeah.
care who you are, what you study, where you went to school. We are products of our childhood, and everything is held up here.
Yeah.
So when that gut reaction, that spidey sense is telling you something, and we as
Hmm.
women have been told to shh, 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 no, keep her quiet. But she's been there the whole time and she's been screaming. We haven't paid attention to her. So again, now that it's quiet, these things start to bubble up because we don't have those distractions of the constant kid activities and all that. So this Gen X, you know, empty nesters, midlife crisis, call it whatever you will,
Yeah.
you know, when we acknowledge that feeling and we address exactly what it is rather than dancing around, oh, I just haven't slept. I didn't eat. I've done this or blah, blah, blah. Mm-mm,
Hmm.
mm-mm. Sit
Yeah.
and just start to, and that's where I coach, is just get right to the core. Dude, we don't like the way we're feeling.
Hmm.
I don't like this. Okay, let's look at what it really is. And it doesn't mean going down the way dark and twisty trauma therapy. You've done that. We know what the demons are, but those intrusive thoughts, those
Hmm.
constant things that we can learn how to manage, we can't control them. We can't control what triggers us. We can't control, what's going to make a thought come into our head, but we can control what we do with it.
Okay. That makes
And
sense.
those are the skills. Like, we're not going to make them stop.
Right.
There is no magic potion, but talking about it, which we have never been told to do.
Hmm.
And if you do it, shh, do it behind a closed door so nobody knows.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Don't
Well,
tell anybody that you needed help. But yet, I'm so sorry, everybody needs it.
everyone needs help of some sort, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is what the your coaching program Be a Butterfly is all about, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why the name and what transformation do you look like? What does that look like in the world?
Yeah. So, the Be a Butterfly came out of what I tell my children every day when they leave the home. Like, be a butterfly, grow, evolve,
Mm,
become the best version of the self that you want to be.
yeah, I love that.
And the butterfly breakthrough for me is when we've been in this cocoon, like the Spanx, it's just that tight,
Hmm.
and we get one little nick and we can see just a little bit. And you need that hand, that assistance that just says, nope, honey, just bust right through. It's okay. You don't need to chip at it anymore. We've chipped at it for long enough.
That's great.
It's time to get down to the nitty. We're done. We're done. We're done.
Yeah, that's great. And so you work with all types of women, and is it virtual or
I
how does it
do.
work?
I do. I am a Gen X woman. This is
Uh-huh.
my forte right now. But the strategies and the goals are applicable all across the whole
Right. To
gamut.
all of
I work
us.
with a lot of hospice patients.
Oh.
Okay, this is like, you ain't got no more time. If you
Hmm.
want to get to the nitty gritty, let's say these things out loud and
Okay.
honestly, you know, um, reframing. Is this, are we fighting for this life of someone who is past their expiration date?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you doing it? Is it because you're not ready to let go? And nobody likes to ask these questions.
Hmm.
They're not fun conversations. Everyone's like, woo, let's go out and do this. But the transformation of that situation, of your response, of the outcome
Hmm.
is monumental.
Yeah. Night and day, right?
Monumental.
Yeah.
And one of the tricks of the trade that I do is, say you can take three words and say them three different ways, and it completely changes. If
Mm.
it's, you know, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm doing this. And doing this.
Yeah.
Three completely different things, exact same words.
Yep. Yep. That's amazing. Hmm. Well, you're a life strategist and not just a coach. So tell me, what's the difference and why does strategy matter in personal growth? I know
Because
we
I
need a
think it's
plan, right?
right. And I'm trying to think, it's like life strategist coach, life strategy. And, to be honest, we're in this guru world that, let's come up with whatever title strategy. I am who gets you out of your own way. We come
Period.
up with a strategy and we put it into place. That's
Nice.
it. I call it out. And acknowledging that life, I'm sorry, is a game. And you
Hmm.
want to win, you need a strategy.
Yeah. Even just getting up in the morning, you need a strategy to
You
take on
need
the
a
day, right?
strategy to do it. And strategies change. Strategies allow evolving
Nice.
and adjusting and shifting.
Hmm.
So they're an evergreen, a living document, if you will.
Nice. That makes sense. So, what myth or toxic mindset do you see most holding women back from reclaiming their confidence and radiance?
Uh, it is the adherence to societal norms.
Mm,
That is it. We have been so ingrained to just believe what we're told rather than what we feel.
okay.
And that mentality, whether it be in relationships, in your work environment, in your own self-worth,
Right.
we do not, as women, acknowledge our strengths and our the things that we've survived thus far. Hell, if we all took a step back and looked at what we've done,
Yes.
but we don't give ourselves grace for that. I'm not
Mm,
telling you that you need a ticker tape parade, but
exactly.
dude, we need to acknowledge that. And that is one of the biggest barriers to whatever avenue a woman wants to go, is just believe, well, that's just what I was told. That's
Right.
what women, right?
Mm-hmm.
and not allowing it to evolve and change. Yes, that's what we all grew up, we all became because of what we were told. Got it. But is what we were told how we feel?
Right.
It may
Right.
be,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's not and it's not sitting well with you, let's come up with a strategy
Yeah.
to create that version that you would like.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's simple. I make it simple. We make things way too complex in our own heads, way too hard.
I agree
And
with
when you
you.
start to trim it down, that's a
Mm-hmm.
strategy. Take away the bullshit, take away the fluff.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Because I think in our own heads, we have just so much going on and it's so overwhelming for most women because we just have so much going on. We are trying to control the whole mess without giving us or ourselves enough recognition. If you were to look at what you were 10 years ago and now today and how far you've come, I mean, that didn't happen overnight, but you are a different person as you get older
Correct.
and as you go through those traumas and all these, helping other people get through what they're going through too.
And that's a big piece in this empty nester, you
Hmm.
know, because what we were told that these golden years were going to be, what we were told of the living happily ever after, what
Yeah.
we were told of, you know, where you should be financially and all these kinds of things. And I think we're turning around and realizing, oh, those golden years, they ain't so golden. So we've been holding on and squirreling away.
Hmm.
And I don't know that that was really, we kind of miss living in the right now
Yeah,
and
I
doing the
agree.
things that are right here in front of us. And I have that bird's eye view from having Mason. Like that was kind of instilled that no, life is not a guarantee. You don't pop a baby out and there's a guarantee that everything's going to go
Right.
according to plan.
Hmm. It's
That's a
true.
guarantee. It's not going to go as according to plan.
You might as well accept that right away, right? Because nothing
Right.
goes as planned.
Right.
Exactly.
And we're
Yeah.
not, and we're deluded. And it's those expectations
Hmm.
where we feel our greatest disappointments. And our perception is our reality, but our perception may not be actual reality.
True. I agree with you there because a lot of times things cannot be perfect, but actually they're perfect because they're not, if that makes any sense. They make
And they're
things
where they're
unique.
supposed to be, right?
Yes.
They're where they're supposed to be.
Hmm.
And to that acceptance,
Yeah.
life on life's terms.
Yes, exactly. This is what we have. And you always want to make the most of it, right? And be happy with and love the people you're with. So just nobody's perfect and no
And
situation is perfect.
if it's not that way for you, then what do you want to do about it?
Hmm.
It's okay that this didn't turn out to be this glorious right now,
Hmm.
but okay, how do you want to? We have that choice.
That's right. That's right. And I think many women don't look at it like that. We don't have a choice, that we're in a situation and we're this is it. But it isn't it. This is not the end. It's the beginning, really. Empty nesting, I think, is the beginning of our next chapter. And that's why I named this summit what it is, Radiant Next Chapter. What it is, whatever you want it to be.
It is whatever you want to be,
Yeah,
whatever you want it to be, whoever you want to
true.
be. Um, different careers, different relationships,
Hmm.
different interests, because we evolve. We
Yes.
are not the same person that we were 20 years ago.
And that's a
And
good
it's
thing.
it's a weird thought that we always think like, oh yes, well, I married my best friend and this and such and what happened. But the two of you changed over 20 years.
Hmm.
And to be okay with that.
Right.
But those societal norms, you get married, you're married forever. You honor thy mother and thy father. Like, no, we're realizing those rules were not
Hmm.
in place for our benefit
Hmm.
ever.
Yeah. And everybody's different, so you have to make it so you're happy. Everyone needs to be
Right.
happy, right? I think that's
Yep.
the most important. We have a short amount of time that we're here, and we want to be happy as long as we
And I
can.
think the word I like to use is be at peace. Because
I
happy,
like
I don't
that.
know what the heck that means,
Mm-hmm.
but peace to me,
Mm-hmm.
and my peace is running in 17 different directions.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm
Yeah.
not, that brings me peace.
Yes.
But someone else might find that absolutely maddening.
It's so
But you got
true.
to do what fits for you.
Yeah, I agree. So if a listener today is feeling stuck, tired, or like she's lost her spark, what's one thing that she can do today to start her comeback story?
I would say that the first thing that she can do is make the decision that she's done.
Okay.
Make the decision with whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be monumental and it doesn't have to be the tiniest thing. Just whatever it is that is not sitting with you. And the exercise that I encourage people to do is look in the mirror, look right in the mirror
Hmm.
and go through what's going it out loud. Just, you're by yourself. Nobody's
Mm-hmm.
looking.
Yeah.
And you go through it. And when it really twerks your belly, that's the one. And you make a choice. Okay, this is what I'm done with
Okay.
today. And then we start taking the steps.
That's
For
great.
me, it's you get it out, whether it's writing, verbally, singing, running, I don't care. Get it out. If that's where this dumpster fire ensues,
Mm-hmm.
is when everything is buggered up in here and there's no room for clear thinking. We're just
Rid of
creating
it.
one disaster out of the after the other.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate that. That is such great information. And I'm sure that someone is going to walk away with this today and you're going to change their life. So I appreciate you.
I hope so.
Yeah. So I know that you were offering, let's see, an intro to your book.
Yes. So I wrote my first book and it's called the Dumpster Fire Diaries Get Off the Hot Mess Express. It's available on Amazon. And if you go on my website and register, you can get there's a free introductory chapter, or you can get a free clarity quiz to kind of,
Okay.
if you're sitting there and you're saying, I'm not sure that I'm all that whacked out, just start to write it down. You start to see very quickly, that things
Okay.
might not be rolling in the right direction. And that's
Okay.
awareness. And that could also be that
Sure.
very first step.
Absolutely.
Reading the book helps to bring awareness. That's what people are saying back to me, is that they're reading it very slowly
Hmm.
because it is poking stuff, which
Okay.
is what I wanted, was to let someone know, like, oh, okay, I can feel this feeling
Uh-huh.
because I'm not alone, because I'm not unique, because it's okay. So yeah.
That's wonderful. And I know we're all kind of in the same boat.
Yep.
Nobody's perfect and everybody has things that we all need help. So thank you. Thank you so much
Oh,
for
thank
offering
you
that
so
today
much,
and for
Elaine.
being here with us because it's really enlightened myself and I'm sure it's enlightened quite a few others as well. So thanks so much. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Sarah. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
being
Elaine.
here.